In a quiet valley nestled between two vast mountains, there was a little village named Valora. The people of Valora were simple, happy in their routines, respectful of traditions, and terrified of failure. They believed that success could only come in one way, by following the path carved out by others. In this village there lived a young girl named Mira. She was different from the rest. While other children played house and practiced weaving or tailoring, Mira would lie on her back, staring at the sky. Her eyes followed every bird that soared through the air. Hawks, doves, even crows. She'd watch how they dipped, circled, and vanished into the clouds. Her heart didn't beat for weaving, it beat for the sky. Mira wanted to fly. But in Valora, flying was considered foolish. An idea for stories, not for real life. The village elder once said, "The sky is too wide for a girl to conquer. Better stay on land, where your feet can touch reason." Her parents, though kind, were bound by fear. "It's dangerous," her father said. "You'll fall and break more than your bones. You'll break our name." Her mother added, "People will laugh. You'll become the tale told at bonfires." The foolish girl who tried to fly. Mira nodded, but her dreams never did. Each night she would sketch wings, big ones, small ones, curved like the swallows, stretched like the hawks. She studied how birds flapped their feathers, how they took off from branches. She built models with bamboo and cloth. Every failure taught her something new. Every cracked wing was a lesson. Then one summer, a traveling tinker named Eldrin visited the village. He sold toys and tools. But what fascinated Mira was the wooden glider strapped to the back of his wagon. It was small, too small for a person, but when the wind hit just right, Eldrin would throw it in the air and it would dance. Mira approached him. "Can you teach me how to build that? But big enough for a human?" The old man looked at her, not with mockery, but with curiosity. "Why do you want to fly, child?" "Because I believe I was born to," Mira replied. "Not to follow paths, but to create them in the air." Eldrin smiled. "Then you must prepare not just your hands, but your heart. When you try to leave the ground, people will try to pull you down. Sometimes not out of cruelty, but fear. Will you still choose the sky?" "I will," she said. And so, Eldrin stayed. Weeks turned into months. Mira worked beside him, learning how to shape wood, balance weight, measure wind currents, and understand lift. Every evening she'd test what she built on the hillside behind the village. And every evening she fell. Bruised knees, broken models, torn sleeves, laughter from villagers. "She thinks she's a bird. She'll never fly, poor girl. She should be learning how to make bread, not wings." But Mira was not chasing their applause. She was chasing her own roar, silent but real. One day, Mira finally crafted her first full-size glider. It had broad wings made from willow wood, stretched with cloth soaked in resin, balanced, tested, perfect in theory. Her heart beat like thunder. Eldrin looked at her creation and said, "It is ready. But are you?" She nodded. The next morning, she stood at the cliff near the edge of the village, the highest point. A small crowd gathered below, half out of curiosity, half to witness her fall. Even her parents came, silent, nervous, ashamed. She strapped herself into the glider. The wind howled around her. The ground below looked like a different world. Her legs trembled, not from fear of falling, but from the weight of everyone's doubts. Then she heard her mother's voice, faint and trembling. "Mira, please come down. You don't have to prove anything." Mira turned, smiled, and whispered, I'm not doing this to prove anything. I'm doing this because it's who I am. And then she ran. For the first time, Mira didn't fall. She soared. The village gasped. The glider sliced through the sky like it belonged there. Mira dipped, circled, climbed higher, laughing into the wind. The trees looked like brushstrokes, the fields like blankets. Below, the villagers stood frozen. Even the birds seemed to pause. Mira was no longer a girl with dreams. She was a girl becoming her dream. Hours later, after a smooth landing in the nearby meadow, Mira walked back to the village. No cheers, no claps, just silence. Then someone whispered, "She flew." From that day on, everything changed. Not because Mira demanded it, but because truth doesn't need permission. Children started drawing wings. Some tried to make their own. The same villagers who once laughed now said, "We always knew she had something special." Mira didn't care for their new approval, because real freedom had already touched her, and she knew now. Applause is sweet, but it can't replace the thrill of wind in your face and the sky in your heart. Years later, Mira became a teacher, not of flying, but of freedom. She traveled across villages telling young boys and girls, "Don't let anyone make you small because they fear your size. Don't let them define your dream with their limitations. You were not born to be tamed." She wore no medals. She carried no titles. But in every village, people remembered the girl with wooden wings who defied gravity, not just of the earth, but of expectation. Don't let others control your life. Their fears are not your reality. Their limits are not your boundaries. You were not made to follow someone else's path. You were made to carve your own. The world will always try to box you, label you, even cage you, not out of cruelty, but out of habit. But the sky doesn't belong to the obedient. It belongs to the brave.